The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors. Warning! The following live broadcast may contain loud, obnoxious, shrill, and alarming noises that might be considered disturbing, if not outright uncomfortable to listen to, especially if you are wearing headphones. I share my office space with an African gray parrot and two parakeets, and I have absolutely none whatsoever control over their behavior while I am live streaming, unlike my regular videos where I have the opportunity to edit them out as best as I can. If you are sensitive to loud, surprising background noises, like that one, I recommend either not turning your volume up too loud or watching my edited, pre-recorded videos instead. Viewer discretion is advised. I'm only trying to save all your eardrums here, people. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, so here we're at it again. I almost didn't make it this time around. Um, yeah, it's like I was kind of like I don't know. I was kind of feeling like maybe I should like skip today or something, but decided that it's like what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a shower, I'm gonna have lunch, and I'm gonna like make a make a proper decision after that. And in the end, I just decided it's like what? Yes, let's go on with the show. Let's run the live stream. I have to do work anyway, so might as well do it online in front of everybody. So there you have it. So welcome everybody to another episode of the EgoWorks live stream, live from the office. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. I am trying again to stream on Twitch. Hopefully it works better this time. I think I figured out how to get Twitch to actually save the stream. I know it deletes them after like 7 days or something, but last week I did do a recording on Twitch, but I guess there was a button I was supposed to press or something to give it permission to stay on the website. It was very strange. I'm still getting used to that over there. So the replay wasn't available on Twitch. So hopefully after this show, I did all the settings correctly, and the replay will be available for those of you who can't catch this live, or you can't watch it for any longer than you are. So let's see. It's like, who do we have? Oh, hey, Amaris. Oh, there we go. So we have Amaris jumping in the chat here. And yes, I see you, the 3 people who are watching me from regions beyond. And for those of you kind of wondering, every time I do that, that's a reference to the Haunted Mansion at Walt Disney World, because I'm that much of a dork. So, yes, so... So yeah, so I found it funny once to hear C. Michael, it's like using that phrase, and it's like, does he know that that he's actually, calling, like kind of like channeling Madame Leota, well, now he knows, and now will you do too. So yes, so yeah, I am watching you. Thank you everybody from regions beyond. And yes, and if you are following me on Facebook, if you're following me on Twitter, thank you so much. But if you want to kind of, if you want to interact better with me in the chat, come on over to YouTube. Join my sexy people in the chat. It's a lot easier. It's like Facebook sometimes gets all weird about people commenting, and on Twitter you can't comment at all. So there you have it. So if you want to so let's, come on over to YouTube. And also I think Twitch should be able to, we should be able to talk on Twitch back and forth. So it should work out okay. So here we are. So I guess might as well just get this started. So hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I am a cartoonist, an illustrator, and a comic book artist from New York. I have been self publishing comics since 1992 because I don't know any better. And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which is returning to Kickstarter in early 2023. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, EGORAVEN, Heir of the First Unicorn, currently on Kickstarter with 16 days to go. We just reached 4K. Thank you so much to everybody who who have supported the campaign so far. Thank you so much. And I am also co-host with Nita Lanning on the Rage Into the Vlogs show every Monday and Friday on the Indie Comics Network. Yeah, and that's and there's a lot going on. It's like I'm still getting, you know how it is. I'm still getting used to all this back end stuff here. I'm so used to Nita kind of like handling the cards and stuff that it's like, oh, now I gotta do it. So, but in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage Art, LAGE, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network channel as well. So make sure you come on over to YouTube, you like, subscribe, you hit the notification bell so you get notified every time we go live. Either I go live on my channel or on any of the shows that go live on the Indie Comics Network for all your indie comics conversational needs. So, so there you have it. So yeah, so let's see. So it's just been, so it's the day before Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm kind of thrown off by that. I mean, it's like, it's like, it's like I work from home. Weekends really don't mean anything. Holidays really don't mean anything, but they still kind of mean something because it affects my schedule. So, so yeah, so Thanksgiving's tomorrow, but luckily I am saving my Thanksgiving celebrations for the weekend. So at least I don't have to worry about anything tomorrow. So yeah, so I'm going to try to like sneak off to the supermarket and pick up some stuff like early in the morning, just so, like I can avoid, actually, I think I'm more concerned about Black Friday, than I am about Thanksgiving. Although everything closes early on Thanksgiving, so I do have to keep all that in mind. Yeah, so I gotta go take care. So hopefully I can take care of some stuff tomorrow morning while everyone's busy with other things. So yeah, we'll see, either that or Friday or early Friday morning. So I can get that stuff done. But yeah, so what else happened this week? Actually, let me do some housekeeping before I continue. So speaking of the weekend, usually at the end of every month, we hold House of Bob, the adults only drawing live stream, where it's me and Nita Lanning, where we show off artwork and have conversations that's not appropriate for the daytime crowd. So usually we hold House of Bob every month on the last Saturday of every month, but because it is going to be Thanksgiving weekend, yeah, I decided I was gonna pass on it this month. It's just a little, I don't know, it's just a little weird, just a little weird. And, yeah, and I really don't, yeah, it's like, you know what, I think we'll need a little vacation. So yes, but we will be back on December 31st, which is the last Saturday of December. Yes, we will be back with House of Bob so that we can start off the new year with some good old fashioned furry porn. So yes, so if you want to join us, so remember to mark that on your calendar, December 31st, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. House of Bob, adults only on YouTube, and because of that, we will not be broadcasting to Twitch. because of that. So if you want to see House of Bob, you're going to have to watch it on YouTube, where you also have to age verify in order to watch it. So let's see. Oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I completely understand what you're talking about, because I usually feel the same way too. I mean, it's like I'm actually pretty fortunate that we don't celebrate Thanksgiving the way like everybody else does anymore. So it's going to be quiet. I know for a fact it's going to be quiet. So and yeah, and we're going to be able to avoid most of the I don't know, like everything that goes around Thanksgiving. So yes, no, absolutely, absolutely, I completely sympathize with that. Yes. So yeah, so it's like, yeah, so that was, yeah, so House of Bob. And also, I don't know if I mentioned it on my last show, most likely. um Sorry about that. It's that's kind of like when I'm wearing glasses too much and my sinuses start acting up. I'm trying not to be gross about it. I'm sorry. Um, so let's see. So I remember. So let's say I know I told all you guys about the whole nonsense with DeviantArt, and I've been moving all my galleries to my main website at egoworks.com, and pretty much, I guess, just to remind everyone that I'm still doing that. So if you're looking for any of my galleries or whatnot outside of anywhere, especially now that Twitter can't decide whether it wants to die, it wants to come back to life, what's it doing? Twitter doesn't know what it's doing. So if you really, really want to make sure that you catch my artwork anywhere, it's like you can always go to egoworks.com, and at my website at my YouTube channel at Daphne Lage Art. Which yeah, it's like pretty much those are the two places. Look, just go to egoworks.com, everything's there, so you can always find me. You can find all the links to the YouTube and everything there. That's my hub. I've had it for decades. It's not going anywhere. So if you're concerned about, like you're following me on certain social media and it's like, oh, it's like everything's gonna collapse and go on fire, it's like, where do I find my favorite artists or whatnot? Or at least for me, you could just head on over to egoworks.com, sign up for the mailing list so you get updates and whatnot for my stuff, so you don't miss anything. And yeah, so at least there's a central location. It's like I'll be trying to post more artwork there as we go along. And yeah, that's kind of, so that's kind of just a reminder of everybody, to everybody, where that's where I'm at, pretty much. Yeah, and one last thing. Yes, just to remind everybody that also on Kickstarter, the Oswald Chronicles Volume 2, Passing Queens and Making Homes, is now on Kickstarter. So it launched on Monday. So if you were waiting for the second volume of Oswald, well, even if you've never heard of Oswald before, and this is the first time you're seeing it, the Kickstarter is a great starting off point. You can pick up volumes 1 and 2 of a completed story arc. And yeah, and you can start the saga of our magical little mouse on there as well. So everything that I mentioned, there's going to be links in the show notes below. I do have links to also some other crowdfunders, maybe you guys would be interested in as well. There's, yeah, it's like I try to switch them out so that it's just so you guys can see different things as well. Because yeah, why not, right? It's like, so, let's see. Yes. Oh, hello. Yes. Oh, and Joe D. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. No. No. It's like I'm very well prepared and backed up. It's like no fires, no AI. harvesting, no nothing. The thing is though, my galleries are still up, like DeviantArt is still there. It's just that now I'm just using it as a Kickstarter advertising dump. And so if you go over there, if you'd like to be just reminded of what campaigns I have or what's going on right now in terms of where you can pick up books, my that's what I'm using my DeviantArt now for. That's, it's still there. It's just that I'm not going to completely delete it because it's like I don't want to free up my account. I still want to hold on to that. So what else has been going on this week? Well, big news, well, for me at least. I finished inking EGORAVEN issue 7. So I can't say completely that EGORAVEN issue 7 is in the can, but at least inking wise it is. I've been working on that issue it was supposed to, I've been going a little bit over my schedule with that. I was supposed to have finished it by like the first week of November, but it didn't work out that way. But whatever, it's finished now. So I sent the last 8 pages off to the flatters. So I think that you should. You should. I mean, it's like I really do think that we're at a time now where your website, you really need to turn your website into a hub, all things you. I think that we've got, if anything, with Twitter has shown, and with DeviantArt, and even what happened with me on Patreon, I think that we have gotten a little bit too far away. What's the phrase? It's like we have walked too far away from the light of God, or in this case, from our own websites. We depend. I think that we've gotten to a point where we're depending a little too much on outside platforms, and we all really do need to develop a hub where no matter what happens, everyone can find us, so I think it's an excellent idea for you to have, if not move your galleries, at least duplicate them on your website. So if anything happens, if you have galleries anywhere and those go down, or they decide they're going to feed your stuff to an AI and you have to remove stuff, you have a website to send everybody to. I think this whole thing in the past couple of weeks have proven how important that is. If you are an artist, and it's like, and you have to be online, you need a website, you need a mailing list. I think that there's no way around it, and I think even more right now we have to learn to control our experience better, like to our advantage, as opposed to of the advantage of a larger company. But yeah, so it's like, so I've sent the last 8 pages of EGORAVEN issue 7 to the flatters. So once I get those back, I really don't want to start really coloring anything or color correcting anything and putting in the shading yet until I have issue 8 done. So with issue 8, EGORAVEN issue 8, I have, I think, like 12 pages left to do layouts for. I do have thumbnails for the entire issue, so it's just taking those thumbnails and kind of like roughing them out in more comic book proportion. And then taking those layouts and then transferring them to the actual board I'm going to work on. So that's what I have left for EGORAVEN issue 8, because what I want to be able to do is, like, technically all the lettering is done for all those issues, for issues 6, 7, and 8. And so it's like I want to get they just need to be organized and rearranged, because it's like once I have the final pages, it's easier for me to organize the lettering better. But all the word balloons and everything are done. I just have to plop in the final pages and then start organizing them. But the thing is, though, I'm not going to do that until I'm finished with issue 8. It's like what I want to do is get issue 8 completed and then work straight through all those issues, because then what it is, I'm able then, because what I want to do, depending on how my schedule works out, like the second, it's like I want to have technically volume 2 done. So EGORAVEN volume 2. So yeah, but so I want to have that as complete as possible, and then all I have to do is just color and letter, color and letter, color and letter, and then it's like I think that I can get through that process a lot faster than yeah, because once I'm in the coloring phase, it really goes by really quickly. Uh, the hardest part about doing each issue is the layout phase, the penciling phase, and the inking phase. And I think the hardest for me is the layout phase, where I'm just trying to like thumbnail out as much as I can of the script. Trying to get a rough idea as to like the pacing and how I want, like how long do I want the scenes to be and whatnot. It's very, very rough. And then what I do is that it's like I then start to transfer that information, the thumbnail information, onto like an 8.5 by 11 sheet that has the template on it, the comic book page template on it. So then I have everything in proportion. So then I mark out my panels, my exact panels, and then I start drawing out what the thumbnails are, and I start organizing them better at that phase. And then it's like, then once I have that done, I transfer all those pencils to board, and then I start penciling those out, and which each subsequent phase, the process gets faster. But I think because I keep getting asked how long does it take me to do an issue, and I always overconfidently say I can take like a month to do an issue. That's not true. That's it. I'm just like that's me. Yeah, I can take a month to do an issue if I'm just doing one part of the process, which is not. It's like we're talking about this 4 phases. So I think that if I were to honestly say how long it would take me to do a 32-page issue from beginning to end, it would probably be about 4 months. And I'm trying not to take that long, although probably, look, it just is what it is. I mean, yeah, because honestly, between layout, thumbnail, layout, and penciling, it's like I said, that's the part that takes me the longest time, that I really drag out. And then once I'm at inking, it's not as bad. But definitely once I'm at the coloring phase, there are times I knocked out 8 pages, completed pages in a weekend. So it just, so it's like, yeah, it just depends on how much detail is on the pages or not. So yeah, so that's my big news for the week. EGORAVEN issue 7 is technically, well, the inking is complete. So so I can finally move on to other things, which you wouldn't be able, it's like you probably, if you're just seeing this for the first time, you wouldn't have guessed by looking at the preview pane down here, because obviously there's another comic book page on the drawing table that we're going to be working on today. Yeah, but that's kind of like the weird thing. Once I finished, like one issue takes like so much time, so much mental energy, that when I actually complete it like that, I mean, it's like, it's almost like a kind of like lose focus, because like, oh, okay, we're done. It's like, no, we're not done. And yeah, so it's like, so the whole thing is like, okay, I finished this issue, but I still have to keep doing. I still have an entire list full of things I still have to do. Just the other day, I self-tagged myself in a thing that Rob Multari from Nightwolf had posted on Facebook, where he was talking about like what stuff, what things he still needed to do, and his process, where he was on the next Nightwolf and Snowball and all his other comics. And I decided, it's like, I'm going to self tag myself in this. So that I could just write out a reminder as to what I needed to do. Let me see if I let me see if I have. Let's see. I don't think it was too far, because like, just to give you an idea as to what I have left. Let's see. Do do do. Okay, like here, and mind you, only after that I post it that I remember that there's still things missing from this. So, okay, so number 1 is issue 7, which I just told you I just completed inking, but it still needs to be colored. Now, mind you, same thing with issue 6. Issue 6, that's completely flatted and ready to be colored. But like I said, I don't really want to go back to that until I have issue 8 done. Then I have Tall Tales, The Peacekeepers remastered. That's going to be launching on Kickstarter early 2023. I haven't decided when yet. Again, make sure you're signed up on my mailing list to keep track, so that you keep track of all my projects, so that you don't miss anything. So yes, the remastered Tall Tales, The Peacekeepers. The interiors are complete. Pretty much the entire layout is done. The only thing that's missing is that I have to finish coloring the cover. I know that I did do a previous episode of the live stream where I started coloring that. I've yet to finish it, so I still have to do that. Then we have EGORAVEN issue 8, 12 pages of layouts left, and pages 1 through 21 prepped on board for final pencils. Then I have Tall Tales, Tears of the Mother, issue 6, last 8 pages to be inked and completed. I'm a little embarrassed by this book. I had those same 8 pages needing to be done before 2020. So pretty much I've spent all this time ignoring that poor book. So I've put it, so I put it higher up on the list so that I could just finally finish that book and then touch up the cover a bit and finally have that done, and hopefully release Tall Tales, Tears of the Mother issue 6 in 2023 as well. I know that there are people who are fans of Tall Tales who are probably super annoyed by me kind of getting kind of off track with with Tall Tales, but no, we're circling back. We are circling back. We decided that it was just better for us to re-release everything in remastered versions and then circle back to the main series, so that to the current series, so that people who've never heard of us before, they have the entire series to reference easily, because they'll have the four volumes you can see right there, and it's like they'll have Peacekeepers or whatnot, and then when we finally get back to Tears of the Mother, then we'll have the first trade for that, and then we can get back into doing the rest of the individual issues, which, by the way, it's an 8. I have 2 more issues to do on that story arc, so that's also on the list. Right, and then it's like EGORAVEN Cult of the Wolf Witch novel. I have the cover flatted. It's waiting to be colored. The novel in itself is in very early editing stages. I'm still Nita still has the first manuscript, so whenever she can get to that, then it's like I can start kind of like moving a little bit forward with that. Right now it's like I'm still thinking more design wise for it, so I'm a little distracted by that, because no matter what the edits are, there are certain parts that I still that like they're going to be in the final novel, like chapter beginnings and whatnot. So I want to do more generic artwork for those, for the chapter for the chapter openings. So I have to do that. And then it's like we're doing a remastered version of Tall Tales, or so I thought. And then currently I have two EGORAVEN shorts that I just have to finish. I have one that I started on another stream called Visit. I have 5 pages to pencil and then ink, and then I have to send those to the flatters. And then what I will be working, what we have on the table now is the 2 pages. I have 2 pages of a short called Friends, which is, like I said, is on the table right now. All I have to do is just ink. I have to ink them so I could just send these 2 pages to the flatters, and this story is done. It's so I'll explain more about this when we get to it. We're just hitting the half-hour mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bump, take a drink, and then we'll get to working on this page and getting that done. So yeah, can't you see I'm trying to make a great book for you? It's like, look, I'd like to think that that's all my books. I mean, it's just that. Well, like I said, we'll come back to that. Hold that thought. We'll come back to that after a couple of bumps. We'll be right back. So let me just find everything here. So let me. Where am I? Where is everything? Oh my goodness. Here it is. Okay, so we'll be right back. Okay, all right. So here we are. All right. So let me just adjust something here. Now, you know what? I don't think it's that necessary. I don't think so. It's like my camera is a little too low. Hold on. Hold on. I think I'm a little too close up here. A close up, you jerk! A close up! Okay, hold on. Let me see what we got here. Okay, no, it's not that one. Okay, it's not that one. And, maybe it's this one. No, it's not. No, that's okay. So this is okay. So this is good as it's gonna get. So okay. So all right. Oh, here we go. Hey, James. Hello, hello. Thank you for the thumbs up. So here we have what's on the drawing table right now. Like I said, one of the projects that I needed to get finished after finishing EGORAVEN issue 7 is one of the short stories that I have for the side, for kind of like the little side stories that I do for EGORAVEN. So there's 2 of them right now that I have. There's like I said, there was one called Visit, which is an 8-page story about EGORAVEN going to the doctor for the first time, which it's a really cute little story. Well, all of these are all little cute little stories that they don't necessarily fit into the main storyline, but they're a little too fun to just ignore. So I do them as separate stories, and what I'd like to do is either collect them in their own trade paperback or put them in, depending on how many that I have, or they will be in the volume 4 EGORAVEN trade paperback, which is the final volume. So I just haven't decided how that's going to work out yet. So this particular one, I decided that I was going to do this one first because, oh, honey, oh, bless. Yes. Well, it's like, look, is it spoilers? I don't know. I don't know. Is it spoilers? I don't know. Um, they're my OG. They're my OG couple. Um, Daniel and EGORAVEN are my OG couple. They were always, I always kind of wondered if that would be considered spoilers or not. But I mean, that is what happens. But it kind of, the path is a little bit wiggly, you know. But it's like, yeah, the path is a little wiggly. But yes, Joe. Yes, no, absolutely. They were always meant to be together. It's just that I have to make it complicated. I mean, that's the thing. Um, so I'm going with this story, which, because I have the pages already penciled out. The other one, the other story, it's still loose layouts. I still have to tighten the pencils on those. So again, it's another phase of production. So this one was the easiest one for me because I know that it's like, okay, give me the weekend and I'll have this story completely done. Here's the ironic thing about this story, though. The first 2 pages are the only ones that I can show on camera. And even then I don't have the other page out. I only have a partial of the only other thing that I can show you is like this much of the last page. So it's like, so the fact that everything else about this story is complete except for the first 2 pages, well, it's because of the type of story that it is, and that I knew that if I didn't, that I had to do the pages myself, because I don't think my flatter would appreciate me sending, let's just say, highly adult pages to her. I don't want to do that to her. So it was just easier for me to finish it, to complete it. But these first 2 pages. Oh, hello, Jake. Well, hey, since it's just us today, it's just us, it's just me, it's just you, it's just Jody. I
don't know who it is, but it probably is for Hogwarts guys. I asked my friend Joe, I asked my friend Jake. They said it was for Hogwarts guys.
There we go. So we keep the tradition going. This is at least one of the only 2 pages from this story that I could do online, that I could do on the show. So I figure I might as well just do it, right? Yeah. Like I said, so this is a short story that it's one of the only actual adult EGORAVEN stories that I've done so far. By now, you guys all must know me and know that it's not going to be the only one. But, for the sake of this video, I'm working on these. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna work more on this panel. Right now, what you're seeing is that I took my Rapidograph. There we go. My Rapidograph number 2, and I put down the basic lines that I'm going to be inking. So I'm just pretty much outlining everything. And then now I'm just going to beef up the inks with my number 3 and number 4 Rapidographs. And the middle panel is always at the perfect height for me. So we're going to work on that because it'll be easier for me to work on. I still have to kind of figure out, like, kind of the best way for me to, like, work on pages without having to put myself in, like, weird positions to kind of get to the parts that I want. I know that I've seen like some other artists where they have the board like completely straight up, and it's like, and that's how they work, so that they can see the entire page in front of them. The problem is that these rapidiographs don't work that way. They work best when they're like in this up and down position, as opposed to being, like you're like doing it straight like this. So it doesn't work. But also, I mean, it's just, it's funny when I'm penciling, I try to like get more of an upward board. I think what it is, I have to switch it out with my other board, which I can lift into a higher position, but then I think it would require me to change my camera again. So I just, I'm constantly, it's like, I think I had this office rebuilt several months ago, and I'm still noodling with it. It's like, I have yet to really, find, it's like the absolute perfect, like setup so far. It's really, yeah, it's just kind of really funny how it's like, I get the opportunity to redo the office, from scratch. And, I don't think there is a way for me to get it perfect. I forgot. Oh, and I forgot to, let's see. So there we go. So we'll bring up the chat right there. At least I'm wearing better glasses this time. So, I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it on my Cintiq screen. But if you see me turn my head, it's just for me to confirm on the other screen, because it's much larger. As to what everything. Oh, and you know what? And that reminds me too. I forgot the music. So let me start the music. Our little background, because you guys all loved the flamenco last week. I'm going to continue that because it was a really good playlist. So I'm going to be running that in the background. Let's see. Okay, so I'm putting it a little bit lower than last time, because when I was watching the video last time, it felt like, I don't know, it felt like it was a little too loud, and I was like kind of yelling over it, or that's just how I sound like anyway. So I'm putting it a little bit lower this time, so you should be able to hear it. As you can see, my screen went black because I put the yeah, it's like I have to kind of figure out, I'm still figuring out the whole OBS thing too. Because it's like, because what I'm doing is like a Windows capture for the chat, as opposed to, like, I don't know, there's something else that I know OBS can do, like it can just isolate the chat, but I don't know. It's like I haven't been able to figure it out with Streamyard and I'm still trying to, like, one of the big things that I can't seem to figure out with OBS right now is getting clips to play with sound. For some reason, I can't get sound to go from OBS into StreamYard. So all the clips that I play, like the Fahugwa Gods one, like I couldn't play it through OBS. I have to do that through a StreamYard, or else you don't hear the sound. So, like even the music now, that's coming through StreamYard, not OBS. So I just have to figure out how, like, what I don't have connected. Right, yeah, I know, because it's like it's making me fuss too much. I mean, that's the thing that I like about StreamYard when it first came out, that it's like, oh my god, I can do all these little things with it. and it's just like really simple to figure out. But I mean, I understand OBS is you can do stuff like this and have your own layouts and whatnot, but they're just like, you know, but it's like when I can't figure something out on it, I just can't seem to like find anything on it. So if anybody has any idea as to how to get sounds through OBS to to broadcast through Streamyard, that's my problem right now. I would really love a solution for that. So right now I'm just faking it. I'm just using, like OBS is more, I'm using it more for the visual. And then for StreamYard, then it's like I control more the the clips and whatnot, and the bumps and everything, because what I'm sure I mentioned it. It's like, what I would really like to get OBS to a point where I can control everything from OBS. But until I get to that point, so I'm inking in this short, like I said, the first 2 pages, or in this case, this is the first page of the story. And yeah, so like I said, this story, it's originally it's an 8-page story. It's in full color. It's just the first 2 pages are missing, and because I originally wanted to do a separate trade for all the adult content that I have that's for EGORAVEN. The thing is, though, is that's my format for that book is probably changing. When I wrote the novel, Cult of the Wolf Witch, which is the novel that comes after Heir of the First Unicorn, which is going to be an illustrated novel, by the way. I just decided that this is probably going to be the only comic book of EGORAVEN I might be doing aside from the shorts, and then any of the more involved stories I'm going to do as illustrated novels. And this was so there was going to be a collected. When I figured out the format that I wanted to use for Cult of the Wolf Witch, I decided that I wanted to do that for the adult book as well. So there was going to be like a companion book. There are 2 books: Cult of the Wolf Witch and Whispers to Eros, which is the adult book, and they're supposed to. And the thing is, though, I want those 2 books to match format wise. When I redid the Silk Rose, and I was using this 4x6, no, not 4x6, 6x9. I don't know why I keep saying 4x6. That's more like a trade paperback size. So this is a 6x9 book. And I bled out the pages, and I just love this format. So I want all of my prose books to match. And so Cult of the Wolf Witch is going to be this format. With the illustrations bleeding out like that and everything. I mean, I really do like it. It's kind of like larger than a manga, but I'm kind of using manga formatting or light novel formatting for it. And so I decided I was going to do that for Cult of the Wolf Witch for the novel. And then what happened is that I realized that completely affected how I wanted Whispers to Eros, which is the adult prose, mostly prose book, that it affected the format for that, because I wanted all of these to match. So what happened is that it kind of, so this was supposed to be a color story inside the book. You know, like the book was supposed to was originally meant to be like, you know, like kind of like a trade paperback, a full color with full color illustrations or whatnot. But after changing the format, that's completely changed. Actually, I'm repeating myself. I'm completely changing the format. So it's going to be a predominantly prose book with black and white illustrations. And if I do comic pages in the book, I'm seriously considering doing the comic in context to the size, the 4x6 size, not necessarily comic book size. I think I'm going to push a little bit more, you know, doing more like, not completely imitating a manga feel, but kind of using those proportions and seeing what kind of comic storytelling I can get using that format. And also because of that, now the book has to be in black and white. Unfortunately, with print-on-demand printers, I can't just switch out pages. Well, up to here is black and white, then here's a color section, and then up to here. It's either all or nothing. You know, there is no, you partially pay for the color for these, you know, you partially pay this price for the color pages, this price for the black and white. It's like, no, it's either all or nothing. So technically, I'm working on these pages for a story that most likely is not going to see traditional publication. You know, because it's not the type of story that I just want to put in a trade paperback, because it is graphic. And it's like, look, and I understand not everybody wants to see that. So that's why I wanted to do a separate book. But the formatting is not really going to give me the look that I want, putting it in the 4x6 format. I would have to see. I would have to play around with it. Like, I don't know, like maybe I could like convert the color to grayscale, you know, make it look like, you know, duo shade or something. Like I said, and then maybe offer up the color version as like a PDF reward or something. So, you know, yeah. So I haven't decided that. I haven't decided anything about that. Also, here's the funny thing. Also, another funny thing about these pages that I noticed almost immediately. So when I did this story, I did this story like I think around like early last year. And yeah, I think it was around early last year. And the thing is like I ended up working backwards on it. Like I said, I worked on the the first 2 pages, because it's 6 pages of scenes like this. There's a lot going on in each scene. Actually, here's the other page. I forgot I even had it out. I kept talking about it, and it's like I had it right behind me. So this is the 2 pages that I just have to ink. So each of these is like these kind of like involved panels. So that they kind of have a lot of detail in them, and it's like I was saving them for last, right? So unfortunately, I completely saved them for last. Oh, hello. Thank you so much, Skylar. Thank you so much. You could do colors. Well, you see, Jake, that's the thing, though. For a print-on-demand book, I can't do that. That's the thing. It like I said, it's either all or nothing. So I did these pages. I technically penciled these pages out like early last year, and only now am I getting to them. And here's the thing. So I ended up with a dilemma. It's not much of a dilemma. That is just what happens, and it's like I think that the way I color it will just bring everything together, and it won't be as noticeable. But my inking is a little bit different. Just slightly, like, I don't know, I can't quite put my finger on it. It's just a little different. I think I have a little bit, I am a little bit more confident with how I'm inking. So it just looks different. Like, okay, so if all right, so this is okay, like I said, this is the panel. This is the only panel on the page that I can show. So this panel I inked around that time, around last year. And I don't know. It's like, so this is supposed to be the corresponding panel that goes with it, because it's supposed to, like, you know, it starts off with this panel and then you kind of get the same panel at the end, but, you know, there's a different vibe in the panel at the end than it was in the beginning. And I don't know. It's like, I just feel like it slightly looks different than what I'm doing now. I think once I color it, like I said, it's all going to blend in, and probably I'm the only one who's going to notice it. But it's just kind of funny to realize that it's like, so I hope nobody thinks that, oh, the story starts off with good inking and then ends with old, you know, it's like, I was like, oh, well, the inking kind of got shaky at the end. It's like, no, I just started backwards. So, moral of the story, don't start a comic backwards. Just work in order so that if you do get better, it makes sense as the story goes along. You know? So, well, thank you so much for subscribing, Skylar. I hope that you're enjoying the shows that's coming out, that I do the streams and whatnot. So, so I'm kind of like rethinking this format or whatnot, and I kind of have to see, I don't know, like if maybe I could salvage these pages by just formatting them differently and just doing them a little bit differently in the yeah, you see, that's exactly what happened, Jake. That's exactly what happened. I wanted to get to the exciting part first. And I ended up neglecting the first two setup pages. So, you know, that's so yeah, I should have just done this in order, like I should have, like a good creator, and not as a horny one. You know, so yeah, so I just have to see. So I was looking up some tutorials for Clip Studio Paint. Because I guess I was looking up some stuff about the duo shades and whatnot, that those, you know, those gray tone effects that they do and whatnot, that you see a lot in manga. And it's like, oh, you know, like that would, if I can get that to work, you know. And I know that I talk a lot about, you know, it's like, oh, I really don't have the patience for another learning curve. But I'm not sure. It's like I'm kind of, I don't know. I think I just have to bite the bullet, finally install Clip Studio Paint, and just force myself to use it. Just like I really have to learn Premiere, for Adobe Premiere. I mean, it's like I have the subscription anyway. So, I mean, it's not the editor that I use right now for videos, but I know that I can do are those what, the ears that I have on my yeah, the screen tones, right? Yeah. So what do you mean? You mean my ears on my headphones? Those are just cosplay ears. I bought them at an anime convention, and I just glued them onto the headphones. It's really that's actually, it's like I have like, they're literally these. It's like, let me just let me just show you. They're literally like I bought. It's like they're just cat ears that I bought at a convention. You're supposed to wear them on your head, but I don't know. I never have luck with those. Everything always ends up slipping. So, but I bought them because I figured it's like, you know what? I could use these for something. I really like them, and I'm just a sucker for glitter. So, yeah. So I had bought like a whole bunch of these in different colors, and then it's like, remember when those cat ear headphones first showed up on Kickstarter? Look at that, and I got glitter all over my pages. Oops. So it's like, look, we're gonna be finding. No. It's like because it's like right. So there were these cat ear headphones when they first showed up on Kickstarter. Right, and they were like really expensive, $200 or whatnot. Right, the ears were supposed to be speakers. I mean, I'm sure everybody they're kind of ubiquitous now. Now it seems you go to an anime convention and everybody has those stupid things, right? But at the time, I mean, it's like they were like really expensive on Kickstarter, like $200 or something. Like maybe if you got like an early bird, you could get you can get them for like 150 or something. So what happened was that like I really liked them. I liked the idea, it's like having a headset, with the cat ears on it. So, but the thing is though, I was always, at the time, I was very suspicious about any technology that's offered on crowdfunding. Because by that point, it really didn't have, a very good reputation. So I decided I was going to wait on it, because it's like, they were saying it was going to be available after the thing, but it was going to be more expensive and blah, 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 and whatever, right? I think it took about like 2.5 years or something for the headphones to finally go from crowdfunding to actual production. And in the end, it was a good thing that I waited. Yeah, I mean, look, even now, I will not support any technology on crowdfunding. It's like, no, I'll wait until, if it's any good, it'll be available after the crowdfunding. Because way too many prototypes, way too many, questionable prototypes. And, so I think it took about like 2.5 years for these headphones to go into production. And like I said, it was a good thing I waited, because when people started getting them, like they were saying they were okay. Like literally I had YouTubers that I was following at the time, like they would all buy it, and it's like, and they would do the unboxings, and like 9 times out of 10, like only one of the speakers worked, like one of the ears worked, like there was something wrong with the headset. Like it could work as a headset, but the whole point was it was supposed to be a speakers too and whatnot. So, and here's the thing, I never saw, so they would get them, and then that was it. That was the last time I ever saw anybody use, I would see, like I never saw any of the YouTubers that I was following use any of the headphones that they got, the cat ear headphones. And they were saying, it's like, oh, well, if it wasn't like straight up broken, they were saying, oh, the sound's okay. It's okay. It's like I have Bose earphones that have better sound than the cat ear. And I was like, you know what? It was a good thing I didn't buy them, because, honestly, for $200, you better be better. You better be equivalent or better than Bose or Beats or any of like the premium, or any of the premium headphones. And, so to make a long story, so what happened was I had these headphones and I had started streaming more often. And I thought, oh, you know what? It's like, wouldn't it be funny if I could just like be cheap about it and just glue the ears that I have onto the headphones? And that's exactly what I did. I just took some crafting glue or whatever, something 3000 or whatever, and I just glued them to the headphones. And these aren't even the original headphones they were on. The original headphones, I had, it's like they started disintegrating the rubber. So I just pried the ears off, bought new headphones, and then glued them back onto the headphones. And they're cute, right? It's like, they're cute. It's like, look, I purposefully bought the headphones to match. So, the only thing, if anybody else wants to do this, if you have those ears lying around or something, is that it's a little heavy. And sometimes I feel this sliding here. And sometimes it gets like a little too much pressure here, where the ears are. So I can't really, like move my head really quickly, or else the weight of the ears shifts the headphones. And I absolutely cannot lift my head, Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like if, sure, if I find, it's been a while since I've been at an anime convention. I'm sure that there are unicorn horns as well. But, yeah, no, I have plenty of cat ears. I have a lot of cat ears. Because, I was obsessed back in the day. I bought one of each, like practically one of, I bought green, blue, red, and purple. I think there's a purple one somewhere, a purple set somewhere. And yeah, so it's like, like, probably I'll just stick with the cat headphones. I'll just stick with the cat ears. Because at least it's actually something, it's not, the cosplay ears that I have already are not going to waste. So this format, right. So I was looking up, because the format of this novel is, well, it's not a novel. This one, Whispers to Eros, you see, it's the two books. So Whispers to Eros and Cult of the Wolf Witch, which are both continuing the EGORAVEN story. It's like, these are the two novels that introduce Eros and Loki into the EGORAVEN canon, officially. Even though, if you're on Facebook, you already know Loki. And in a certain way, you also know Eros too. But we always spend more time with Loki because he's such a pest. Well, you see, the thing is that makes more sense because Eros is more aloof, and it's like, and he wouldn't be the type that would like hang around that much in the mortal realm, so it's like, okay, he'd be the type that's like, look, they're best, him and Loki, Eros and Loki are best friends, but he'd be like, okay, you want to stay with the mortals, you can go right ahead. I'm going back to Olympus. I'll see you later, so that's why you don't really see Eros a lot in the doodles, because it's like, technically he would only show up in extremely rare occasions, and then it would involve a trip to Versace and some expensive shopping spree, and then it's like, look, I'm done. I gotta go home. Yeah. So where was I? Oh, yes. So the two books are supposed to be what I was going to call the divine duology. I haven't decided if I'm going to offer up like the two books together on one campaign. I haven't decided yet. We're still far off from that. So, of course, in my OCD, I want Not going into fanfic mode. Look, Joe, I love your fanfic mode, bro. I love it. I absolutely love it. Feel free to go into fanfic mode. So it's like, because, actually the actual story might surprise you more than your fanfic. the fanfic in your head. So I want the two books to match because they're meant to bookend each other. So that had me really thinking about, okay, how am I going to do Whispers to Eros, which is a short story collection, as opposed to Cult of the Wolf Witch, which is a complete novel, which is its own novel. How am I going to work this formatting, so that they both match? So, like I said, one of the ideas, and yeah, like Jake said, it's, there's something about that duotone that really does something to inks. So I'm thinking, it's like, you know what? Maybe I can still salvage or at least not salvage, but be able to put this story somehow in the new format. I just have to figure out how to do it, So I was looking up tutorials from Clip Studio Paint. And I came across the videos of an artist, an American. Here's the thing. It's like, so the word mangaka, right, just means somebody who works on a manga, But the thing is, though, is that I've seen a lot of people say that it's only specifically Japanese artists, though. Even though I've seen some American artists use the term, but they're saying American mangaka, as which kind of makes sense to me because it differentiates them from saying, well, I'm a comic book artist. But the thing is, though, when you say I'm a comic book artist, people already get a different idea as to what kind of artwork you may be doing as opposed to doing manga. There's a certain oh my goodness. No, well, you see, that's when I said that I make these things complicated, right? Because that's the thing. It's like Loki's entire thing is to make shit complicated between Daniel and EGORAVEN, and it just makes it more, funny. It just makes it more funny. So, oh yeah, mangaka, right? So, but by them saying American mangaka, I'm already thinking something different. I'm not thinking that you're drawing Spider-Man, or you're drawing, or I don't know. It's like something from Fantagraphics or something. It's like you're not drawing what I would consider more traditional American comics. If you say you're an American mangaka, I'm already thinking you're an American that does manga style comics, because we're talking about two completely different aesthetics, right? Mangaka equates with comic author or author of manga. The influence has already spread so wide that the aesthetics and execution will loosen. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I know that there's some people who are sticklers about that, but also it's not, I don't know if it's really Japanese people who are uptight about this stuff as opposed to other white kids, It's but I kind of I actually like the usage of the word American mangaka, because like I said, I immediately know what you're talking about. That I know the context. I know what kind of artwork to expect. I know the aesthetic we're looking at. I'm not, if you say you're an American mangaka, this is not the type of artwork I'm expecting from you. So I found it's like, so the website the channel that I found was a guy who goes by White Manga, which is, but WHYT, White Manga. And he does, the artist does a book called Apple Black. Now, the thing is, though, I could swear I've heard this book before. I've heard of this book before. It's just that I don't know if it's because I actually heard of it, or it's the fact that the title of his manga is so on point that it could sound like a manga from Japan. The title of a manga from yeah, that's what I think so too. That it's just the weeaboos getting all uptight about that. Because we were just talking about this yesterday, that it's like, I remember like just really how far yeah, okay, yeah, so yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. And you know, it's like, yeah, he has like 500,000 subscribers and everything, like, you know, so let me just figure these out. Like, I need a thicker line on these, but I didn't want to go completely, you know, that thick on it. Hold on. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is why that other panel, this is going to look so much different from that other panel, because I'm a little bit, I feel like I'm a little bit more cautious now. With my inking and what exactly, you know, I want it to look like. I don't know. It could be just me. Maybe the two panels look identical, and it's just like because I could see the differences, you know. Yeah. So I found. So it's like, yeah. So like I said, I could swear I heard this before, or just Apple Black just really, really does sound like a manga. And, you know, and he did this whole series on how to do a comic page from beginning to end, from sketching to inking to everything in Clip Studio Paint. So I have to actually sit down and study that video, so that I can get a better sense of how to work Clip Studio Paint, and then maybe finally get the results that I'm looking for. Right, because also another thing that I've been studying also, like yesterday I started working on a new lettering template. So I follow the guy who, I guess, like, he created Blambot. So if any of you are lettering and you need good fonts for your comic book work, go to blambot.com, BLAMBOT.com, and he always has fonts. Like, he literally creates fonts specifically for comics. I think he's like a letterer for Image and all that. So, you know, he's a professional letterer. And he makes fonts specifically for comics, and he also does incredible tutorials that I have been religiously following. And just the other day on his Twitter, he had posted up his page. Actually, I think I could show it. Hold on. Because I found out that it was actually in the book. So while we're waiting for that to dry anyway, I have a lot of wet spots on the thing, and so on the page, so I might as well wait a little bit for it to dry. Hold on. It's the carpet, man. So he did this book. I know that we've talked about this book before on a previous episode, but so yesterday he showed this on his he showed this on his Twitter page. And I guess it has been so long since I looked at this book, I didn't realize that it was already in the book. And I outright asked him, "Do you have your template for sale?" You know, and he said, "No, I do not sell my template." So I decided to pull out the book. I don't know. It's like his template moved me. So I decided to pull out this book that I think that if anybody is doing comics, I don't care at what point of the process, you need to have this book. Because honestly, I think everybody in the process needs to understand how lettering works so that you draw your pages better. And I really do think, you know, because nothing ruins a comic more than crappy lettering, you know? So, and the book is available on Amazon, by the way. So I think that's where I got it. Actually, I stole it from Jose. He bought it off of Amazon and I stole it from him. So I was so moved by his Twitter post. I went back to the book. I finally pulled it out and I went page by page. And I started building his template. So I haven't gotten to this point yet with all the different word balloons, but I started, you know, so I pretty much started with like the basic setup. Oh, that's all here. Yeah. So I pretty much started with his basic setup and I followed every line. You know, it's like everything that he said to do in the book, in here, I followed. So I have a rough template. It doesn't look like this yet, but I do have some of my basic lettering that I use. I have some basic word balloons, and I have what he calls a typeface morgue. So yeah, so I followed how to actually do, like before I would find his instructions online and I would try to guess because because there were partials. Right, I guess he was in the process of putting together this book, so he would put out like partials, and so I never knew. I never knew like what exactly the process was. So I would see something like this, and I would just try to figure out as best as I could how to imitate it in Illustrator. And it turns out that I was like wildly off the mark. So I followed his instructions. So I redid my lettering template. And yeah, it's going to be a lot easier in the future doing it correctly. And yeah, so it's like, yeah, so I have the basic, I have very, very basic, like the basic balloons that he has, and a typeface morgue. So I have on the side, like this one, a type morgue, right? So what I did was all the fonts that I have gotten from Blambot, I put in the template so that I just have it on the screen already. So I'm not searching for it in the menu. And so it's just like, and then it's like whatever other, and then once I had all the Blambot fonts down, then I did a second row of all the fonts, like all my like more unusual fonts they're not Blambot, but I would like to have at the ready in case I need them. So I still have to collect more of his fonts. So that's where I'm at right now. So yeah, so this is where, so the next chapter that I have to work on is the balloons. Yeah, because I want to learn how to do all these fancier balloons, because I'm not, and to do like proper tails and whatnot, because I'm not really adept at Illustrator. But his instructions seems easy enough that I know just enough to be able to figure these out. So yeah, so this is what I'm really looking forward to, is doing like all the really fancy balloons and like, you know, to be able to do something like this. You know, so I'm working on it bit by bit. But also the thing is too, is that if you go to Blambot, he always has free fonts available. Now, of course, you can tell which ones he asks to pay, you know, you to pay for. But the thing is, though, we're talking about like $20. I think I saw font there for 25. But oh, you have a super font cheat sheet? Yeah. I technically I have to make one for, you know, well, I'm in the process of making one, because it's like because after a while it's like that's just it's just, yeah, okay, I have, what's the point of having like 2,000 fonts at the ready if it takes you 45 minutes to look through them all, like if you're just like it just takes too much. So yeah, so at least this way I was able to narrow my collection down, and if I need anything like more specific, I can I can find it. I'll look for it then. But this way it's like the whole idea is to be able to create this template that should make lettering a lot, like I have a variation of it, but this will make it a lot more efficient for me. Oh, the Ames letter guide. I mean, I guess if you, I mean, I don't know. It's like I understand, like, wanting to learn it by hand so that you could. But it's like, I mean, I haven't done hand lettering. I mean, honestly, I've never done hand lettering. And I mean, I understand needing, that it's good to know how to do it by hand in case for some bizarre reason you can't do it on the computer. But I mean, I don't know. It's like I don't know. I guess if I wouldn't feel bad. I mean, it's like if, I mean, I know I had one of those lying around for a while. I mean, it's long lost. But, yeah, I guess, I mean, I wouldn't feel bad not knowing how to use it. Let me just put it that way, because it's like, you know what? It's like, I think... Not that I think lettering by hand is archaic, but it's I don't know. It's like I think that it's just more efficient, the way doing it on the computer, the way we're doing it now. And it's like, look, and mind you, I'm the one that started. It's like I started lettering. The next step up, I was printing out dialogue and pasting them line by line onto comic book pages. Like it's like tweezers and glue, and stick glue, I mean, it's like that's how I used to letter. So yeah, so this is a huge improvement for me. Being able to letter this way. Where was I? Oh yeah, we were talking about mangaka, right? We were talking about Clip Studio Paint. Yeah, it's just, yeah, and then it's like just I guess it's just learning all these programs or whatnot. Yeah. Right, yeah. I think I've done calligraphy too. It's like, but I don't know. I just think it's like a little bit different, I guess. But at the same time, I wouldn't have patience for calligraphy now either. So yeah, so I'm hoping that, maybe I'll give Clip Studio Paint another shot. And really get these pages, get these future books, get the look that I want. Yeah, I'm not, yeah. I don't know, like sometimes it's like, you know, because I see what people can do on Clip Studio Paint, and I'm like going, oh man, you know, I'm missing the boat here. You know, like they can do, like, I don't know, but then again, it's like, you know, the whole drawing in the computer, like, I still haven't gotten the hang of that yet. I always suspect it's because my Cintiq might be a little too small for that, for me to really, like, if I had like a full-size Cintiq, that maybe I could, that I could get into penciling in the computer more. I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I guess it's just getting used to it. You know, but isn't it always, right? It's always about just getting used to doing new things, new techniques. Yeah, but going back to white manga, right? So now here's the thing. Let me toss an idea out and tell me what you think. Okay? Hey, Kia Fern. Hey, that's tomorrow. But technically not for me, because I'm doing Thanksgiving technically on the weekend, so it saves me a lot of effort. So I found white manga, right? And I was really surprised at how much work he had. Like, he had several volumes of his manga, you know, that he's doing. And, you know, and the thing is, though, it's like, he's also like, you know, you can find his comic at Walmart and Barnes and Nobles, like, not on the website, but like legit officially in the stores, right? And you know, and it really had me thinking about like how like indie comics sounds like independent comics, as like at the same time is so small yet so big that there are people producing volumes of work, and we've never heard of them. You know, that unless, you know, the algorithm decides to spit it up, like, they're books that we've never heard of. You know, you know, and they have volumes, and you know, and it's like, I'm really, you know, and there's like other people too, where it's like, you know, we just, you know, we just, you know, we were running some bumps for Sacrimony by Mata. I forgot her last name. Sorry. But, you know, it's like, you know, so she does, you know, so she has like 5 issues, right? It's not a manga, but it's just like, you know, and then it's like, we met Visenia, who has like 9 issues of her comic, Celestial Pulse, right? 9 issues, you know, and it's like, I'm really happy to finally begin to see more people making it past their, you know, issue 1. You know, I mean, really, it's like, I always say that the road that I've been on since 1992, the road is riddled with people who never got past issue 1. You know, and, you know, and then it's like, you know, and now it's like I'm beginning to see more people who, yeah, it's like, yeah, they have like, oh, I have issue 5 up to issue 9, I have issue 8. You know, it's like, oh, here's my 2nd volume. You know, and the shit's like this thick, you know, it's like this thick, you know, it's a manga, you know, manga size. Like, oh, I have 4 of these, you know, and I think it's very exciting to see people to see creators actually like seeing more and more of them making it past that hump and actually getting into the meat and potatoes of their story. I there was a time where I thought that yeah, I really do think that's the problem. That's part of the problem too, that they see, you know, that it's like that they're not really doing a book, they're making a product. So if it doesn't perform as a product, they stop doing it, you know. But like I said, it's like oh yeah, like even you, Joe, right? You have like what, 5 issues of Amazonia, you know. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just really nice to see that for a change, where it's like we're beginning to see more and more people like, yeah, I'm doing the work, you know, here's the work. You know, it's like for a little while I was like really irritated. I was at the idea as like way too many people celebrate in issue 1. Way too many people say, oh, if you make it to issue 3, that's reason to celebrate. And it's like, you know, it's like, look, I know I've made the comparison to a marathon, you know, and I've run half marathons. It's like, you don't celebrate at mile 3. You know, that's kind of, there's a saying in running circles, you don't celebrate at mile 3 unless you're running a 5K. But, you know, if you're running a marathon, you do not celebrate at mile 3. That's why we hate the people who have the signs that say, at mile 3. They say, you're almost there. And it's like, fuck you. No, we are not almost there. Stop it. You know? So, you know, so I was kind of like getting bothered with that. Like, you know, it's like, no, we shouldn't be celebrating people's issue 3s. We should be celebrating, you know, it's like, you know, let's cheer them on, but let's not celebrate just yet, you know? And so here's the thing. So then I started finding all these American mangakas, and it's like, and they have like an incredible amount of work. Usually the ones that I'm finding, it's like volume 2, volume 4, you know, it's like, what, you know? Let's see, maybe people get around to the idea of making the book they want to make with the alternatives they have now. Yeah, it could be. Well, here's my idea. There we go. So Joe has like 7 issues of Amazonia, 4 of AWF, and 5 in Primetime Saturday Night. Look, that's a lot more than most people. You know, I mean, really, you know. So, yeah, you need to celebrate at the end. You know, I mean, it's like, yes, when you cross the finish line, that's when you celebrate. You cheer them on, you know, in the meantime. So, okay, so here's the idea that popped in my head. You tell me if there's any validity to it or not. That American mangaka are more likely to have the amount of work that they have because their standard are manga volumes. While for American comic book creators, our standard is a 21-page comic. So technically our standards are a lot lower than an American mangaka. How does that sound? I mean, it's like, you know, so there are too many people out there who do the 21 pages or whatnot, and then that's all they write on. They're harping on how they did this 121-page comic for years. You know, and it's like, what the fuck? You didn't do anything. Was it a one-shot? Then you didn't do anything. You didn't even begin the story at 21 pages. You know, but you're acting like you... Like, there was this reality show... one of many, but it was the one that Puff Daddy did when, or Sean Combs, however he's calling himself now, where he was like, he was trying to put together that girl band, Danity Kane, right? And during one, like, so there was one part where, okay, so everyone got through the main competition, whatever, and I guess like the girls, it's like, okay, so you won the competition, you're now going to be Danny Kane, and these girls were all hysterical and shit, and because they won, right? And then like Sean is just sitting there, Puff Daddy, he's just sitting there, and he's just looking at them, and it's like he had this look on his face, and he goes, they didn't even do anything, and they're celebrating like they did something. Look at them celebrating like they did something. All they did was won a contest. They haven't done shit yet. They haven't even started the work yet, and they're celebrating. And that's kind of how I feel. When it's like, when people talk about, oh, just celebrate that they made it past issue 1. And I'm like going, no, I'm not actually. I'm not going to celebrate that issue 1. Talk to me when they get to issue 24. Talk to me when they get to issue 20, when they get to issue 10. It's like, is that their story? I mean, is issue 1 a one-shot? So it's like, then they didn't do shit. Like I said, they didn't even start the story. Let's see. I think American Comics looks at doing a story based on if it can make money on it from issue 1, as opposed to America, the looking at completing the story to sell the volume. Yes. I kind of think that's what it is. That an American mangaka can say, oh yeah, here's my first volume. And then you have, and an American combo guy going, oh, here's my pamphlet. Here's my pamphlet. It took me 2.5 years to do this. And, I just, so it's like, I'm kind of wondering if that has something to do with it, where it's like the more influenced by manga a creator is, the more determined they are to imitate that and create the work. But like I said, it's just my theory. I'm just throwing it out there, I'm not really sure, because look at somebody like, this sounds derogatory, but I don't. I say it, in pure awe that, like Fred Perry from Antarctic Press is the hardest working nobody in comics. Like, he is one of the few people to reach issue 300 on his own fucking series. And you would never know. Because he works for Antarctic, because he does the manga style stuff, mainstream comics is not interested in that. So he doesn't get the amount of recognition that he does for that incredible milestone. I mean, I think there's only 5 people in independent comics who's done that, reached 300 issues. So, and I don't think it's coincidence that it's because he does a manga. He's influenced by manga. It's the same thing with Ben Dunn. Ben Dunn has done 175 issues. And I don't think it's coincidence that it's because his major influence, judging from his artwork, is manga influence. It's like working with manga is a deterrent on its own. The ceiling is so fucked unless you study. Yeah, and that's the thing too, also, is that there's a different standard for manga than you see in, American comics. So that's, and then it's like, it comes back to how they answer when the next issue or volume question. Manga artists typically allow people to view pages as they go and get a story a page at a time. Comic artists make you wait. Oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it too, but the thing is, I think that if you have so much work, it's easy to give away free stuff, to have people see the pages in advance, because you have so much content. just like, you can read, like I have all 5 issues of EGORAVEN on my website right now. Like if you wanted to just read it and kind of get a sense of where it's going, it's right there for free, right? The only difference is that this is the original version that I did back between 2000 and 2017. Just remember it took that long because I was just really fucking around and I wasn't really doing the book seriously. That's why I'm kind of like on edge now, because now I'm really doing it seriously. But yeah, the whole point is that, you could still see it. It's like you could still read it. Like I said, the only difference is that the Kickstarter stuff is in color. It's remastered. I redid the lettering. I kind of tweaked the story a bit. Not anything drastic, but just enough to, make it a little tighter. And then starting January 1st on the new year, all those old pages are disappearing. I'm going to start cycling through the new color stuff. And it doesn't bother me one bit that I'm putting my story for free online, because it's like, there's so much of it and the story is going to continue to unfold, so it's like I'm not worried. Like even before, when we were talking about Daniel and EGORAVEN, it's like, is it a spoiler? I mean, I don't know. Who cares, right? I mean, it's like you're going to follow the story anyway if you're interested. So it's like, okay, these characters get together, but how do they get together? I mean, what twists and turns, happen until they get together? Because also it's like, if you've been following my book so far, that there are definitely some pit stops on the way. So saying that, okay, this is, it's like EGORAVEN and Daniel being the final goal, right? Being technically the happily ever after. Is that a spoiler? You know what? It's like, I don't care if people know. It's like, the story is unfolding anyway, and how the story unfolds is what's important to me. Let's see. Think about it this way. It would be like giving more story to your doodle as a side venture to keep people interested. Oh, yeah, like the doodles, right? It's like the doodles, all the doodles are that I have on Facebook. You have to follow me on Facebook to see these doodles. All they are just one-page sketches, one-page stories. That's all they are. And it's like, and there's usually no real context to them. It's like there's just like, okay, this is the stupid shit in my head. Let me put it on paper and then post it on Facebook. It's like maybe it'll turn into a story, maybe it doesn't. But it's like, but it's just there. But does it affect people's ability to enjoy the main story? No, it doesn't at all. Although I have to now, hold on. It's like manga's different visual vernacular that they rely on pictorial over textual. Looking over the history of US comics has grown distance from the hard literary writing to decompressed, but never changed the formatting. Yeah, along the way to account what happens. Yeah, that's a completely, that's a different conversation. Oh, not a different, but another conversation too, where it's like, yeah, where different formats of books are very looked down upon in comics because it's so controlled by certain publishers and a certain distributor that it's like, no, everything has to be made this way so that it fits on the racks in stores. So it fits in the bags, it fits in the boards. I mean, I know that that Randy's talked about that. On certain occasions where it's like, you can't even experiment with formatting in comics because it is so looked down upon. So you know, and that's the funny thing, because when I was even putting together an illustrated novel, like like really doing the novel and doing the short story collection, I was hitting like I felt like I was hitting a lot of walls, because like, oh, comic book people won't buy that. It's like, oh, you can't, you know, it's like, no, they won't buy that. They're not interested in that or whatnot. It's like, you have to have a lot of illustrations, and you can't mix illustrations and prose. Comic book people, I mean, it's like, you know, and then it's like the size, you know, it's a comic book size. You can't do it like that. And, you know, and it's like, and in the end, it's like, look, I'm going to put together a book that's best for what I'm trying to accomplish with the book. You know, oh, well, it's like, yeah, Joe, look, it's like, I mean, it's like, look, the story's definitely going to go where it's going to go, you know, but the thing is, though, it's like, honestly, it's like, I am more than happy to say that, yes, it's a happily, well, it's a happily ever after for him. You know, it's like, there are little technicalities, you know, but yeah, that's pretty much, you know, it's like, it's a happily ever after for Daniel, you know. After that point, it's a very different story for EGORAVEN. You know, it's like I said, it gets complicated. You know, it gets complicated, but in the initial story, you know, and it's like, yeah, and there is a lot of inferring. There is a lot of inferring in the story. You know, but yeah, you know, that's how it goes. You know, no, that's low key. No. No, you know, it's just like, let's just say there's a line in the book, The Last Unicorn. It's like, it's just to paraphrase it, it's like, that I take very seriously. That's a very big influence on the EGORAVEN story. It's like, there are no happy endings because nothing ever ends. You know, and I think in the end, it's like, that's kind of the tone of the whole thing, of the whole story, everything. Of everything. You know, I forgot my point. What was I talking about? I was talking about the doodles, but in reference to what? You know, but yeah, I guess it's like, you know, just going back to the whole, you know, so, you know, do American mangaka have an advantage over American independent comic book creators? I'm not talking about people working at a corporation and it's like they're getting paid to churn out product. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, you know, independent creators as we see it, as we are, you know, having to do crowdfunding and the whole thing, to get our books out. Do you think American mangaka have an advantage because they see the story as the long game, you know, i.e. get the volume, as opposed to you're so silly. You're so silly, Joe. I just gotta send you the novel. That's what I gotta do. You gotta help me proofread my novel. So so where was I? Yeah, that they have an advantage because they see the story as the long game, as opposed to American independent artists who kind of fall into that this is a product trap. So they so if it doesn't if it doesn't hit big on the first issue, then it's like, oh, then it wasn't worth it. You know, like I'm kind of wondering if there's like a connection. You know. I mean, because especially lately, I've been kind of seeing that. Oh, let's say advantage. Maybe it helps that U.S. mangaka work at a flourishing time for manga being big in the West, and that they actively support alternative models. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think so, because it's like they're very willing to you go to like webtoons and whatnot, and it's all like manga influenced stuff there. They're very willing to embrace different formats to get their story out. But also, here's the thing too. It's like I just feel like that they're more likely to think about their books, their titles, as stories to tell rather than products to make. Because of that influence. But even if they were thinking of their stories as product to make, the product is a volume. I don't have any manga. I don't have any manga convenient, to grab. But but they say that it's like, even if they thought of it as a product, they know they have to make a volume, which is what, like 200, 400 pages. I think, like, I don't know, like maybe like 300 pages. I mean, it's a lot of material, and so they still have to get that work done. I mean, even white manga, he talks about, how he has assistants. I mean, at 500,000 viewers, and I can only imagine how many books he must move. And he's getting his stuff translated into other countries, and he has a French edition coming out, and 240 to 280 pages. Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's like, what is it? I think, let's see, how many, like, yeah, it's like this is 128 pages. So I would still have to get the thickness of a manga. I still would have to put it, like, I would have to double, I would have to, like, they're putting out 2 volumes at a time, 1 volume for every 2 of mine, in terms of that. So it's like, yeah, it's like I see too many flounder because they didn't want to invest in the work itself without having a following that pays. Yeah, you see, that's the thing too. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Is like, I mean, that's always what I've seen, even from back in the day, even without social media. It's like, oh, if you didn't have a line in front of your table at the next convention for your issue 1, it wasn't worth it. It's like, it's only an issue 1. Who the fuck knows who you are? It's like, and it's like, no, that's where they're going to quit. So yeah, so that's, so yeah, it's like, yeah, so that kind of had me thinking, because there's this other woman that I follow that she literally calls herself, the name of her channel is My Mangaka Life, and she does a book called Sacred. She does a manga called Sacred, and I think she has like 4 or 5 volumes. Again, it's like, holy crap, this is an amazing amount of work for somebody who's doing it all themselves. And also what I like too about white media and My Mangaka Life with Sacred is that how they really nail the manga aesthetic. Like, if you put their manga next to something straight out of Japan, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You know, like that's just how intense it's like. I don't know. Is it? It's like, yeah. I just kind of think, you know. Let's see. Oh, feel free to download my work if it exists on a hard drive. I love you for it. Oh, so there you go. So put a link. You know, so send me a link so I can read all of Bone Meal. you know, um, it's like, yeah, because it's, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, when are you going to put Bone Meal out in a book? Yeah, although don't you have some in a book already, collecting all of your little bone people? All your little skeletons with their gloves, doing things, you know. But yeah, so that's I guess that's my question of the day. Are American mangaka more intense? Oh, there you go. There you go. So there is a link in the chat for Jake Twister's book Bone Meal for everybody to check it out as well. Oh, you won't put Bone Meal into print. Okay. Why? It's a little too esoteric? A little too Oh, okay. So I guess you need the second part for the first part to make sense. Okay, it's like, look, in the end, that's the beauty of independent publishing. We get to do whatever we want. we got to, we get to do, things however we want to, regardless of what, maybe what the mainstream, but as we're finishing up, we're just hitting the top of the second hour. Let me just finish this part right here. So are American mangaka more intense and more serious about making their work than American comic book artists are, independent comic book artists, so that's what I'm going to be kind of like thinking about, because that, and the fact that, boy, it's like, what other books are out there that I don't know about? It's like, you think we're a small community. It's like, yeah, we're a small community. Oh, well, that's cash flow is always an issue. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, we're just hitting past the top of the second hour. So, here's what I got so far. I'll probably finish up the rest of the panel after the show, and then like I said, try to get these these 2 pages out of my way in the next day or so. So at least I'll have this story. I could send these 2 pages to the Flatters. Like I said, it's the only 2 pages I'm able to do that for this story. And then probably I'm going to probably sketch out some commissions that I'm still working on, and then go do the other short story and just try to get as much done as I can in the next week before December starts. Because when December starts, I want to be able to start issue 8, at least start finishing issue 8, at least doing something earnest on issue 8. Probably pencil what I have already just to get that moving. Oh, hey, Nita. Did you go take it? Did you go? Until you see the millions of other people not locked in these small circles. I know. That's the amazing part. It's like, who else is out there that we haven't seen but have created all this work that you wouldn't know? So okay, so let's go back. So let's go back here as let's see, and I'm going to, there we go. So yeah, we're gonna have to end the flamenco playlist for now. But yeah, that's the thing, that we were talking about, that it's like, it's like, who else is out there? And finding these people, and how do we find these people? Like I only came across white media because I was looking for something else. It's like I only, it's like I know Mangaka Life. Thank you, Jake. Mangaka Life, I found, just randomly too, that it's like, just like, that's literally how these, it's like I'm finding these books, it's like just randomly. Um, oh, okay. Well, yeah, we'll talk later, Nita, I'm sure. I'm sure, especially, with the thanks, it's probably all Thanksgiving nonsense, right? So, I'll talk to you later about that. So here we go. So let me see. Let me find all my proper images. Hold on. Like I said, I'm still trying to. It's like, let's see, background. What am I looking for? Oh, okay. So here we go. Here they are. So there and there. There we go. I'll get used to this OBS. You know what it is? It's like until I figure out how to do like the actual audio clips, um, I'll probably just remove them from OBS so it streamlines what's on my screen, and then I'll just run the clips off of Streamyard like I'm doing, like I'm doing now. So, at least this way I can have like multiple overlays, which you can't. You guys know how OBS works. It's like, I don't know why I'm explaining it. Um, but yeah, so let's so the thought of the day. Yeah, the thought of the day is is our American mangaka more serious about their craft than American comic book artists? Independent comic book artists. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's like, are we just not seeing the right people? Is that what it is? It's like that we're only that um, American independence is so full of people who never make it past their issue one. It just looks like that's what it is. That's why we have such a bad reputation. Why people look at Kickstarters and it's like, why would I want to support an issue one? I mean, it's like, what's funny is that I'm beginning, it's like with this Kickstarter that I'm running, it's like I'm really beginning to see that people really do prefer trades. And I guess it's because you can't get more committed than with a trade. It's like, oh, okay, so here's the first part of the story. Then it's like, okay, and I know for a fact I'm going to have people waiting for the next trade. That's why I want to get that book done, so that I can say, okay, yes, the trade's absolutely happening anyway. But I don't know, it's a whole thing. So it's a lot for me to think of this week. Maybe I'm thinking a little bit too much, hey, Patrick. Hello, and yes, let's show that. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the chat. Yes, absolutely. And even if it's not Thanksgiving, may you eat well tomorrow. So, so that's pretty much it. So, here we are at the end of another live stream. Thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you everybody for spending this 2 hours helping me ruminate, joining me as I ruminate on these questions, on these things that I have. How spoilery are spoilers? Why was American mangaka? It's like, are they just into this more? It's like, all these, random thoughts and whatnot. And what constitutes a happy ending? I don't know. So there you go. So those were our themes for the day. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you at least, enjoyed the conversation and watching me partially ink this page. You know how it is. It's like, we're here to hang out and talk and whatnot, not really to get work done. So, as long as we had fun, that's, it's all, it's all about the fun we had along the way. And don't forget to clean up after yourself, Jake. So there we go. So yeah, let's see. So, let's see. A couple of thoughts. A couple of final thoughts. Again, EGORAVEN on Kickstarter. Links are in the show notes. Jake posted up chat. Links in the chat as well, in case you missed it. Also, we have the Oswald Chronicles, also on Kickstarter right now. Links in the show notes, definitely. And yes, and let's see. Oh, and yes, and for those of you who missed it, all of the, if you're following EGORAVEN and you know, on Kickstarter, I just put up several levels where now you can get the exclusive variant covers as PDFs. So if you want to get issue 5, but you want the variant covers too, everything is now available as a PDF, as levels, and as an add-on. So if you are one of these people who would rather wait for the trade, but would like to support me anyway, and would like to get the variant covers, here is your opportunity to do so. So thank you so much to everybody who supported the campaign so far. We are now on the road to unlocking the $6,000 stretch goal with this, which is the second art print. We're on the road to reaching 174 backers, which unlocks an exclusive sticker. And we're just, we're just on a roll in general. So like I said, thank you everybody for supporting the campaign. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, all the links are in the show notes below. So that's it for me tonight, this Wednesday evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all have a great holiday tomorrow. And even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, just have a great day tomorrow. Thank you so much. And in the meantime, if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and my comics and everything, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, where you can find links right here, links to all of my galleries and currents and my social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook if you want to see up-to-date kind of like live updates and live sketching and whatnot, like up-to-date sketches and work in progress and all that. And you can also catch me here on YouTube every Wednesday at 4 p.m., 4 to 6, here at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which again simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And you can we will be back. I will be back with Nita on Friday at 11 a.m., where we will be talking about gatekeeping in comics, and is having standards really gatekeeping? So join us at 11 a.m. for that conversation. And that's pretty much, like I said, House of Bob. We are skipping this weekend. I feel a little weird about it, so about holding House of Bob on a Thanksgiving weekend, but we will be back December 31st with a New Year's Eve furry porn stream, if you want to join us there. As long as you're an adult, can act like an adult, and can click a button like an adult, so you can join us on that as well. And remember that you can read the first 5 issues of EGORAVEN Air the First Unicorn in its original black and white format until January 1st. So if you're the type that likes to compare, the old versions with the new versions to see what's different, you have until January 1st, to still have access to the old version until I restart the website with the new color versions, which is essentially the final, the absolute version of EGORAVEN. So, but if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And remember to sign up for the mailing list, because Tall Tales is coming back to Kickstarter early 2023, and the newsletter is the best way, one of the best ways, or at least, it's like I said, mailing list, website, that's the central location. You want to know what's going on, that's the place to do it. Although, like I said, Facebook is the second best place to keep updated as well. Either way, you're staying updated. So thank you again, everybody, for joining me. Thank you, everybody in the chat, Jake, Joe, Patrick, Nita at the last minute. Thank you, Akia Fern. Thank you, everybody. You know who you are. I saw all your comments. Thank you to the 5 people. At one point, it was 8 people, but you know how it goes by the end of the show. That's when everybody starts to drop off, so that's fine too. So thank you to everybody who has been watching from regions beyond. So, Thank you so much. You could have been watching anybody else, but you stayed here with me instead. So thank you again. And yeah, so there you have it. Thank you so much. And I'll see everybody next time. Bye.
It is difficult to write these words, but I must for my own sake. I have done, seen, and been part of many things in my life.